There we go. Sorry. Everybody just missed my opening rant. So we're gonna go over Saturday's footage since we didn't do a stream on Sunday. So yeah, that's where we're at. So we got Tyler and I going. So I hadn't rolled with Tyler in a bit. Wanted to see just how he's been progressing. I think he's been with us now like 2 or 3 months, maybe 2 months.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Can you give me a mic check?
Yeah, check.
Yeah. Can you guys hear Mike all right? Just want to make sure it's not too quiet for them. All right, cool. Thank you, Jordan. Let's see. Then we got other Jordan and Kyle.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Clay with a
nice and gentle.
Yeah, big double on Jason.
Which you don't see very often.
Yeah, no. So let's look at this setup. So gets the head to the outside, cuts the angle, and then just stays connected at the hips and follows Jason forward. Gets Jason's hips above his shoulders, and it's pretty easy pickup. And then a nice gentle put down. Very kind. Yeah, I don't think Jason's been picked up like that in quite some time. And then how did let's see, how do we get here with Jordan and Kyle? Kyle coming around the backside.
Back.
Yeah. Just about beat Jordan on the turn.
Yeah, he was really concerned with the neck here instead of opting for the control arm, right? And or securing that seatbelt. So he's kind of riding side saddle a little bit. Yeah, winds up getting put on his back. Yeah, I don't know if Kyle watches or not, but I mean, you can definitely get caught up in that spot, right? You're trying to shoot for the neck. That's all well and good, right? Like when you see the neck and you can get the strangle in, awesome. But you really have to we talk about the spine alignment a lot, right? Making sure that your back is straight with his back. And there you can clearly see, like, as you were trying to sink in the choke, you guys just weren't aligned. So, grabbing onto that control arm with your left arm here would have definitely allowed you to come around the back, a little bit deeper and probably ride on the back instead of getting flopped over onto yours.
Yeah, and it looks like Jordan gets his elbow inside Kyle's leg here, but doesn't hook the leg, which I'm very happy about. I've gone off on that in recent streams, but I think if Kyle could try to beat his knee elbow connection by sliding his own knee into that space and trying to pry that open, that would make this position a bit more recoverable. Like he could start to work to that bottom hook and stay connected, even with like the bottom hook and this underhook grip. It's a semblance of crossbody control, so he would be able to prevent further movement, further misalignment, and maybe work his way back. This was Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. So Monday, since we didn't do a stream Sunday, we're going over it now. And then Monday we did an open mat, but it was sparsely attended. So this has a lot more footage to look at. Jordan takes mount.
For the Katagatame.
They're making their way in. I think I see one right here. I believe they're on stream later. I'm pretty sure. Is that cute guy on the left? You talking about this guy right here, dude? Let's see, so Just a guillotine on Tyler. Yeah, sauntering in, picking out their next victims. They got strong accolades from Clay. He trained with them.
Yeah, I think he trains with them later here.
Yeah. I think after Gavin's match, he was like, dude, that kid doesn't stop moving. He's like, he's gonna be a monster. So let's see, with Tyler on my back, push him, roll with him. Oh, they absolutely need to roll with him. They'll learn so much from him, especially for like, you know, upcoming wrestling seasons and everything. That'll be a great role.
Huge honor for me.
James, thank you for the sub.
Thanks, James.
So let's look at Tyler's back attempt on me. So right from here, right off the bat, he might fix it. But so he's got his upper body under control. You can see I'm turning really hard to my right, and that's to misalign our hips. So one thing you can do, you know, when you're experiencing this from your opponent, this is where just simply shrimping your butt out to the side, you know, shrimping your butt back behind them is going to do a lot to give you room to pull the hips down and also just kind of like get behind them more. It's just super basic movement, but it goes a long way towards preventing a back escape. So now he's got himself further behind me, and I'm just playing the hand fight game now. Constantly keeping my elbows up like you guys always do to me. Disrupting the grip on the hands. Notice, well, let's see, make sure I'm looking at the right set of hands here. Hard to see what I'm doing. I was gonna say, you know, I'm always attacking, trying to get my thumb in along the knuckle line and grabbing the knuckle line, not just like grabbing individual fingers, which I think Tyler may have done to me here actually. Yeah, like right there, he was holding the finger pretty bad.
He's trying to push your arms down and trap with the leg, but you're already misaligning your shoulder, or your shoulders down to the mat here. So that's not really going to do much at this point.
Yeah, totally. And then, you know, here's the other thing. This is a nuance to this like whole arm trap game, but you know, you guys hear me often talking about, if I'm on somebody's back, let's put ourselves in Tyler's position. My bottom arm will typically act as the underhook, right, or the control arm. It's not always going to be the strangle arm. If I'm going for the arm trap game, I would prefer my bottom arm to be the underhook. Reason being, I can use a cross grip, so my bottom arm to his top arm, and I can pull that down below the line of his pecs. When you do that, it makes it a lot easier to trap the arm with your leg. And the beauty of it is your own arm doesn't get stuck in the mix. All right, this is not impossible to do and trap their arm. But when your own arm is in there and you have to extract it to continue on for the strangle, you're gonna leave a little bit of room where they might be able to exploit it and get their arm free. When you use the bottom side arm to do this, that top arm doesn't get in the way. So you could think of this as like a plan B sort of approach to the arm trap, but you can see it doesn't work, right? I'm really trying to keep my arm up as he goes for that, get my shoulders to the mat. Here he almost does a good job recovering. He just lets me slip my elbow back. Watch right here, my top arm, you'll see my elbow poke through. Right here, he could have taken my back pretty easily, but then right there, I'm pretty much safe from having my back taken.
Yeah, you can actually do a lot with that scoop grip, that left arm going around the head, like how he had, but he let your elbow slip through the, you know, to his left side, right? And
yeah.
That's where he kind of lost it. Oh, his right side. He tried to correct it, but you were already out.
Yeah. All right, we got Clay up and out. Jason getting him off balance and working an elbow escape more with the hand, which I don't love to see, but it works right now. What happened there? Oh, slipped into a triangle. So we go back. I get to half guard, work to regular guard, regular close guard. I get a shoulder crunch and slip out to the triangle, and then cut my angle. Okay.
Jordan's still working on that mount. Can't get the. Oh, he's working on isolating that arm. Right arm, Kyle. Oh, he's stepping over.
There we go. He's working.
Going into a triangle.
I don't know if we've seen Jordan work a triangle. Okay. Damn.
Kyle was wise to it and got both his arms back in, right? Anytime we've got one arm in, one arm out, we're in the threat of a triangle. Kyle pushes this other arm through. See if he does the same thing here. Okay, he just shucks the legs by.
Nice quick
throws
pass.
them by. Yeah.
Oh, Jason on a really good Kimura attempt.
Very nice Kimura threat. Yeah, or Kimura. What? How did he do this?
So is he? He's
mount.
In mount, yeah.
Oh, but then Clay dismounts.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Okay. And then he gets a Kimura trap. You don't see this very often.
No, not when someone's in mount. Yeah, and then it's a shame to right at the bell too, but right from here, it looks like Jason's prioritizing getting to his knees and like getting his hips up. I don't want to say that's wrong, but you got to strike a balance here between keeping your opponent broken down and you establishing some maneuverability. The way you keep your opponent broken down with this Kimura trap is pressing their arm into their chest, right? And we see a little bit of a gap here. This is going to let Clay come to his arm rather than being like put on his butt and possibly kept there as Jason could then roll around to like a T Kimura position, get behind him and get to work. So good get up from Clay and slick little reversal there right at the end. Just gets behind, little knee trap. It's kind of like a kneeling Tani Itoshi.
Yeah.
Alright, Luke and Clay, Cooper and I.
Then it's Tyler, right? Tyler and Ben.
Yes. What up, Cole?
Decided to join us.
Damn, Luke tried to go through on the like the Udigeshi guillotine sit out. Oops.
That's not going to be an easy one on Clay.
Yeah, and Clay kind of already had it established, so I think he was probably ready to. Oh, he also had his hands connected too. That's where it's going to be really difficult.
You know, also, if you look at the way that Luke did it, Luke was addressing the hands instead of grabbing the elbow. I think if he switched and had his left hand on, to protect for the strangle, and then take his right hand onto the elbow, he may have been able to get a little bit more torque out of the shoulder to coax that grip to break open. But yeah, either way, kind of a last-ditch effort against that. That's a tight strangle.
Yeah, and he keeps, or Luke kept his elbows real wide there to prevent Clay from laying on any significant torque at that point, closing off the neck. Let's see, we got Fidel and Joe going over here. Trying to get in on a double. Clay looking for the rolling back take.
You know what he's looking for is that Kimura. He's looking for the Kimura from Turtle.
Who, Clay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He grabs that wrist, does not let it go. Can't see. Yeah, his left hand is on Luke's left wrist.
What's up, Cody? Yeah, at this point, I think the best way to address that is to like you can't stop in Turtle. certainly not against Clay or any other wrestler who's going to utilize that sort of move to get you turned over. Like, you should, on your own terms, work back to closed guard, albeit through Granby rolling or front rolling or whatever else. But when you turtle up for whatever reason to maybe deny a pass or whatever, keep going through that to prevent yourself from getting Kimura pretty roughly. See Tyler working to a triangle on Ben here.
Triangle.
So let's look at where Ben could tighten up. Tyler taking his time through it, getting all the mechanics right.
Yeah, so Ben has a couple of improvement points, right? Like, doesn't seem to recognize the danger here. So Tyler's addressing his, he's got his right hand on Ben's left wrist, and he's really pushing that down in between his legs. And then when he clears the arm, he just throws up his legs, and he's got long legs too, so it's not going to be hard for him to lock up at least this trap triangle.
Yeah.
So at this point, okay, you got into the trap triangle. We really want to see the right arm. Instead of it being on the belly, you can kind of see it, peeking through, by the thigh. And I know Tyler's going to be trying to drive that wrist across the body, right, to Ben's left side to go across. You really want that hugging behind the same side hip to alleviate as much pressure on the shoulder side of the strangle as possible. And here Ben is pushing down on the, trying to address the grip on on Tyler's right arm, and it's just, he needs to be tucking and getting safe here. That's just helping the strangle.
Yeah. Yeah, and then something early on too, just good fundamental approach here. As he's kind of like knee walking forward, his posture's really broken down. I think Ben's probably thinking, let me pin a leg and try to like staple it, maybe work to a knee cut or something like that. But when you're working from your knees like this, you're significantly more immobile, and when your posture's broken down and you're in somebody's guard, you're asking for trouble, really. Like we talked a lot over the past 2 weeks about, since we were doing close guard, about keeping a good posture, whether we were practicing, guard breaking, or from the offensive side, breaking down your opponent's posture and cutting angles around them. So Ben's kind of giving up a dangerous position. He's making it more advantageous for Tyler here. I mean, Tyler's got, we'll just say he's halfway to the triangle now. He's already got like a leg up over the shoulder. He just needs to clear an arm, which looks like Ben either does for him by extracting that elbow, or Tyler, manages to push it out or keep it out once it's gone. So just gotta keep a better posture, Ben. And then, we could talk triangle escapes another time, but best not to get yourself in there in the first place.
Yeah, and it's fine to be on your knees when you're kind of going into the guard like that, as long as you have one knee up. Like, right, you're already, the person on bottom's already conceding inside position to you, right? So you really need to take advantage of that. If you were to post your, say, left foot flat on the mat, pointing your knee up in between his legs, that can save you from a triangle attempt in general, right there, right? And it can also start your knee cut passes, you can jump into a headquarters position if you wanted to and start attempting to pass the guard from there. There's all sorts of options, but kind of just going in on both knees in between into somebody's guard is probably not a good place to start.
Yeah, I agree, Cole. I'd take it one step further and just say keep far away, keep your posture up. Like I don't work from a very tight position unless they force me there, which, at that point they've like collar tied me and broken my posture down or whatever. But yeah, that middle distance is not ideal. Either be super tight, working your way back to an upright position, or work from an upright position.
So Luke just had Clay in an electric chair.
I saw him working through that.
That is, can we see how we got into there? I think Clay had was in, yeah. So I think he gets into the half guard. Yep.
He kind of it looks like he dismounted or like worked his way backwards, and Luke was like,
Yep.
"Cool, I'm fine with this."
Yeah. So Luke has a really interesting position here. So he's going into deep half, and then he winds up switching his leg configuration. It's really kind of, I'll say, it's difficult to see from this angle, but he actually switches his legs to go into a lockdown instead of having his right leg up in between in the middle. He switches his left leg to go on the outside of Clay's leg, and then scorpions his right ankle underneath Clay's ankle here. Yeah. That's where the tightness of this technique really comes into play. So now he's got a scoop grip on the thigh. He's extending away with this lockdown, right? It's very difficult to get your leg back. And Clay is just in a split at this point, right?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to get out of.
I was curious if he was about to tap there.
What's that?
I said I was curious if he was about to tap there. It looked like his hand was on the mat in a ready position, but I don't know. Yeah, now we got a big reap.
Inverts into the reap. Not IBJJF legal.
But who cares? And then I think he's being a little merciful on his left leg.
Yeah, but now Clay has the potential. So Clay actually had a calf slicer attempt here.
Yeah. I think he just cuts his angle. Like I don't know Clay if you're watching, but not sure if you realized what you had. You can this position, like if you hug Luke basically and then just try to destroy his knee, that's essentially all a calf slicer is.
Yeah, he would just need to pull his knee through in order to get into the right spot. But yeah, I really don't want to teach Clay that because
yeah.
Billy blanks. Are you watching? Did you buy the wrong video in the 90s?
Yeah. Dude, I remember like going to friends' houses. Their moms would like be in the living room doing a Taibo,
yeah,
or Taibo class or whatever. I was like the P90X when we were in elementary school. All right, Tyler's worked his way to mounts.
Huge honor for me.
Deathcore. Thanks for the sub. Thank you, bro. I hope you're doing well too.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Hope you're getting some good training in.
What ended there with Tyler and Ben? It looked like a leg exchange.
I missed it.
Nope.
Arm to an R bar. Nice. Tyler showing his offensive skills. Oh, cool. So let's look at. So we got Clay and Luke's closed guard, and I went through the standing guard break with Clay. I really want him to start getting used to that position. Yeah, that was cool. So, I mean, being able to pull off any sort of outcome with this move against Luke is really good. It looks like he goes for a guard pass here rather than a leg entrance. Luke just about beats the knees by getting his hips up. But Clay manages to keep him down and is looking to get control over the legs. Clay, remember, you can, like, this isn't bad, what you're doing here. If you feel confident in it, you can plant your feet, pop your hips up, and get the V grips underneath Luke's ankles to extend his legs up, just to make him that much more immobile and give you more access to his legs, either for guard passing or leg entrances. But here you cross one over to the side, and now you just got to start like heisting up, which is a little bit difficult if that bottom leg, your left leg in that case, is trapped. But here you get safe. You just end up kind of back in the same position again. I am happy to see you working close guard. Since that's what we were doing that week, and you and I have talked a lot about that. Keep in mind though, coming out of that transition, you can stand right back up and work open guard if you want. Like in a comp or like a different live situation. We're moving on to open guard this week anyway, so I'm sure you'll get a lot more of that. But then Luke sets up a sweep here. Let's see, he gets, I think it was a shoulder crunch. Starts to come up. Oh, okay.
It's just Sumigashi.
Yeah, just a Sumigashi. A little hook sweep. Successfully gets, yeah, got Clay's hips over and past his head, which is no easy feat. And then me and Gavin, just a simple underhook knee pick. No, it's Braden. Is it? Or is that Gavin?
That's Braden.
That's Braden.
Yeah, Gavin's.
Oh yeah, Gavin goes with Clay. Good takedown from Braden. I think that's like his go-to when he gets behind you. Just kind of sit through.
Yep.
Like Tanya Toshi, I think.
Gavin keeping his knees in, getting his elbow frames in.
Very good. That looked like
Americana.
Yeah, Americana. I'm trying to see if he gets the shin pin here like we saw him get with Luke. I don't think so. I think he just had him cross-side. Deep Ochigari. And Luke on a 50-50 inside heel hook with Mitchell.
Another backward trip from Jason on I don't know, I
Fidel.
can't remember that guy's name. Fidel.
Let's see.
Go behind, duck under, go behind, and just
Nice.
drag him down.
Shelves the leg and then hits a quick step over for mount. Gavin, just remember, man, when you're playing this double Kouchi game here, gotta be real quick on those moves. Keep the constant outward pressure, like we talked about at class. But once you get those feet in, get them off balance. You need to have them step for that move to work. So you can't just put the ankles in, and then not be quick with the hands, right? Get up there and give them a good shove by the at the thighs or at the hips. Step over to mount.
See if you can do the standing guard break.
It looks like he's kind of trying to hit like a seated guard break, getting the knee up the middle. Every time Clay opens his legs, though, he's shooting his shoulders forward just to prevent, to prevent the triangle.
I think so.
Here he's not in too much trouble yet. If he could connect his hands and start cutting his angle.
I think he's got his left arm through.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Bye. Quick mount.
It's a nice
Love that. It's
little
like,
handcuff.
essentially.
Watch Clay gets behind the back.
Oh yeah, nice. Then turns it into a half guard sweep or a deep half sweep, basically.
Let's see, Braden's working a double Koji setup on me as well. Pull him away from Mitch and Luke. So same kind of thing. Your ankles are behind mine. You're hanging out there a long time. I'd like you guys to work a little bit faster from that position.
It's really the danger zone. Like that's really a dangerous spot to be. Granted, you do have double inside position, but you also have to be aware your knees are pretty flat, right? Like it's not like you have a whole lot preventing Matt from just completely just throwing his hips into you and going into a quick mount.
Yeah.
There's also very little that's preventing Matt from pummeling your legs back into the inside, right? Because it's not like there's a ton of pressure or a ton of off balancing. You're very balanced here. So yeah, when we're playing this game, I want you either grabbing onto the back of the knees and throwing yourself into an Ashi Garami and looking for leg entries, or I want you getting the hell out of there and setting up something, right? Like, or even to Matt's point, like push on the hips, push on the, on the thighs. Be careful with the knees, right? Like we don't want you to like cap in somebody or whatever from that position. But
save that for competition.
Yeah, you save that for comp. But yeah, you got to be very active here because otherwise you're going to get taken advantage of.
Gavin throwing up some triangle attempts. Clay doing his best to avoid the re-guard by working his way up around the head, at least earlier. Now Gavin's back to a guard position. There we go. Nice.
Beautiful. Look at that.
Get the cross face. Left arm, break over left hip. Oh, dude, that was really, really nice.
Really great setup. Yeah.
He hasn't lost it yet.
Yeah.
Now he has. Yeah, that was a little scrambly, but really good. So right there, great job getting the crossface leg in. Just have to get the hand under control, and this leg position isn't gonna do you any favors. I want that calf to stay right over the face. Clay's buying himself some time here by clearing it off of his head, and he's doing a good job getting his elbow bent and kind of making it difficult for you to control the arm. Just remember, like in this standard position, left, if you're in an arm bar, you have his left arm, break it over your left hip. Right arm, break it over your right hip. Like try to minimize the thought that goes into that. Make it a bit more automatic. And then right there, I think it was, I'm gonna call it a little bit of a, I want to say lazy. It just kind of like the leg just kind of slips off the head. It's not like he was being lazy on it. I think he wanted it. Clay just kind of hits a good bridge, and the leg.
He was trying to transition into a triangle here.
Yeah.
But just couldn't decide on whether to go for the triangle or hit the armbar.
Yeah.
In that last second.
I was sick though.
Yeah. Ashi Garami from Braden.
Yep.
Last minute. Really nice. See, the finishing mechanics are a little in the elbow. Want to see him in the wrist, but not bad for a quick one.
Yeah. Good way to end a round.
Yep.
Alright, so let's see. Luke and Coop. I think Clay and I do a little technique talking here. I think we get a roll in till the next round. Maybe I edited that out. I don't know. Yeah, we're just talking technique. Let's see. We'll go through some highlights on this one. So, ooh, Coop. No bueno, man. If you're gonna slip that arm out, you better be cutting your hips around real fast, around to your right. You're just giving up triangles when you do that, which I'm sure you see that lesson now. But if you're gonna scoop a leg like that, you better have some quick action in mind to prevent this sort of thing. It's not that you can't do it. I mean, that's essentially like the setup to one of the passes we went over, I think earlier that week, like maybe on Monday or something.
I can't even remember.
That heavy pass, like over under kind of pass, except where you're going to the side where you have that scoop grip.
Yeah, I think either video or picture would be required for that.
Yeah. Now we just think you have sick puppy skull.
Yeah.
And you need to schedule a vet visit.
Way to bring us down.
So same thing here, man. Coop, you let it happen again. And Luke has really, really been enjoying working from the wrong way triangle, which is what he's at now. So you can all fully expect that to greet you if you slip up, which is a great spot if Luke's not going to get a strangle there. It's pretty easy to dig the arm out and work Kimuras. The same way front triangles and arm bars are closely related. Wrong way triangles and Kimuras are closely related. There's what we want to see, Coop. So if you take that scoop grip, so you do it again here, I think Luke is being merciful. You got to get that up to the shoulder and you got to throw that leg by.
Really not a fan of you doing that in somebody's closed guard like that. Like,
yeah.
That's not a way. That's not something that I would want to see us doing to break open the closed guard. If you were talking about an open guard and kind of entering in the open guard, right? Exactly what Matt's saying is you want to be scoop grip on that thigh and pushing down on the other thigh. Like you really want to turn them on their hip before you even begin to think about shucking the legs by.
Yeah, totally. All right, Cody and Mitch, Jordan and Jason. All right, so Cody, I'm going to be looking for primarily guard retention stuff, positional escaping, getting safe. I know that's you and I talked about that briefly, I think either after this day or one of the last times we trained. Mitch working to his dorsal Kimura, but turtle up out of it.
Mitch in with the heel.
He loves entering legs, man.
He does. But Cody, you did a good job of turning out. Like you rolled the proper way.
Yeah, you're safe here.
And your knee is getting clear. Now it's not. Okay.
Knee was safe.
Mitch almost with the leg switch. This was a really slick.
Yeah.
That was almost a really nice secondary leg attack. It's really good. But Cody, you did a really good job of turning the proper way, at least the first time, getting your knee safe.
Yeah, and if you care to, flirt with this position a little bit, as you turn, you can also just kind of like park it right here and, get your knee to the mat, get your head up over your hips, and you could just kind of sit right on Mitch's leg. And really, he can't put any significant pressure on you while your knee's free, right? So it's a spot where you can kind of hang and like plot your next move. Eventually you'll probably knee slide out, and you could either take the back, depending on how he rolls, or if he rolls away from you, you can take the back. If he rolls towards you, you can work to a side control, pin him chest to chest, and work from there.
Meanwhile, Jordan sat to guard, and Jason sits into almost a kind of like a reverse underhook position after this. So he goes in for the crossface. It's not really doing too much. Jordan's going to start pushing on him and trying to get him away. So he gets into this reverse underhook.
Oh, nice. Gets him off balance just enough.
Yeah. Oh,
good reversal.
Jason, I wish you would have fought for that underhook a little bit more and driven into him. If you look, this is a really classic and good example of Jason being in a very, very good spot, and just if you look at Jordan's knee, it's very, very close to his left knee and his right knee are very, very close together. And all Jason really has to do is like latch on with that underhook and then tap that far knee, or the one that's closest to us, that left knee, and then use that back leg to drive into Jordan, and it would really just put him right back onto the mat.
Another alternative, Jordan isn't using a whizzer, so there's full back exposure here.
Absolutely.
With this deep underhook, Jason could give him a big shrug and very easily expose the back. I think one thing that's working against him right now is that his own knee position. Like, if he can get his right leg out and then have both knees to the mat, he might be able to get to work a little bit better from here. This is just going to kind of lock his hips in place, like he's not going to have the mobility to kind of circle around. With Jordan having this leg kind of hooking and blocking that, he may have been a little bit more stuck there. But yeah, that was you're right. Like, it was such a close spot to where Jason could have capitalized.
Yeah, now he's digging in for a Kimura, left arm of Jordan. But since he's backed up against the wall, he can't really do too much with the Kimura.
That's gonna be hard.
And it can actually turn against him. Yeah, almost like that.
Yeah, basically it just turns into back exposure. Man, I need to get a roll in with Fidel. He's been over here on the side. He's looking very, very mobile, very active, even against Luke. All right, Cody. So from here, right, Mitch has you mounted. I want to see you start working towards elbow escaping, or even as Mitch plants a foot like he's doing with his right leg. If you can withstand maybe a little bit of cross facing and pressure on your neck from a forearm or something, you could dig both hands under those like that singular leg that's planted and just try to like scoop, bridge and go out the back. I think that's it's a useful one, but you just kind of totally disengage when you do it, which sometimes you need that just to reset. Good movement getting out of that arm bar.
Yeah, very nice. Good escape. Way to get on top.
Love it. Good round. Let's see. So we got Victoria and Luke. Oh, okay. So Victoria skipping around to the back. All right. So big deal here. You've got Luke's left side totally open. Even if his knee and his elbow block your leg from establishing a hook, like he goes to roll here, and notice that hook never makes it in, right? And this is not good. Now Luke just has to like shift his back to the ground, shimmy his hips out to the left, and you're gonna have a hard fight to retain this back. You do get the top hook in when he switches. It's gonna be hard. Let's see if he gives you the space. Like, you gotta get that second hook in, or at least start to come up and then pull yourself into a better position.
I always recommend from there, keeping that seatbelt grip that you have, and it sounds like it sounds very counterintuitive, but actually getting flat, like getting your hips flat to the mat. So if you were here, you lost it, right? Both of your legs are free. You've got a seatbelt and over under. I'm assuming that you're under on the left arm, and then over on the right, over the right shoulder. Actually flattening out and going hips down, using your shoulder to, right shoulder to press into Luke's head and get his head folded up under, to where he would be eventually flat on his back, and then you would walk around to be exactly in line, very like parallel to him, and then you can walk him up and then attempt to go and throw your hooks in.
You're talking about that. You're talking about that retention method where like they basically get their hips totally free, but you keep that upper body connection. Yeah, it's
I use
one of my favorites.
Way more often than I really do use that a lot.
Yeah, I like that one. Like if I feel like the hips are gone, it's like cool, just go ahead, let me recapture. So this was, let's see, going with Clay over here. Starting from closed guard, he hits the handstand or a headstand sweep on me, because I was showing him how to get out, how to sweep when someone is working a standing guard break. So have fun with that, everybody. But now we work the deep half, which I honestly feel a lot more comfortable there with him as a bottom position. I feel like a deep half guard against wrestlers opens up some
a lot of movement that you can get out of somebody that's very well based.
Yeah, the opportunities to like do more jujitsu heavy stuff, like I feel like it comes from that position. So now he starts to circle around, and I have my legs around his right leg, and I don't want him turning real hard to his right. So what do I have to do? I need to get his left arm under control to establish diagonal control, right? Once I get this, he really can't turn in either direction, at least not easily. So I start to slip in behind him, and I can take the back that way. So it was again just like, all right, let me switch to deep half, get him off balance, either enter legs or depending on how he reacts. Now I have an opportunity to get on the back and work from there.
That's slick, yeah. He sinks his hips down or his head down so low, it was hard for you to keep a good connection with his upper body.
Yeah, and he's pinning my bottom leg as he gets out there. So now he gets to close guard and he gets to work his standing guard break, right?
Damn it, Matt! Why'd you have to show him? Because that was really nice.
Yeah, and so I have my own concerns about doing headstand sweeps, just with my neck. So it's like, all right, cool. I'll opt for a double ankle. As I open my legs and go to drop my hips, he keeps my ankles under control, and just basically puts me into an open guard. Where at that point I have to change my strategy. But yeah, we've seen. I said to Clay when I was showing him the headstand sweep, I'm like, I normally hesitate to show this during class. Like I make everybody try it in pretty, chill, static conditions, just because some people have trepidations about going up on their neck, and I'm like, I don't think you have that problem at all, as evidenced by footage we've seen. So I was like, this sweep's really gonna work for you. So you're all screwed, me included. I also showed him the triangle and armbar entrances that come off of it when you try to press on their chest. to keep them from coming up. All right, Jason to an armbar on Mitchell. Nice crossface. Nice.
Beautiful. So here you are trying to get into that deep half. Okay, then you're
And I'll switch into a leg.
diving in on the leg. The hip movement that you were just giving is something that I think is very underrated. So you get the scoop grip, right? You switch to a butterfly hook with your left leg.
Yeah, hard to see.
Yeah, and you're using that butterfly hook and your right leg to start shifting your hips to get your hips flat on the mat, so that way you can throw your right leg up and around to get into an Arimi Ashi position, right? Because your left leg is in butterfly, your right leg is coming around to touch the hip. So this is an Arimi Ashi position, and you can continue to throw in that reaping leg if you can get the turn, right? If you can get down to your left hip, you can throw your right leg into a full reap here and go into a really nice heel hooking position.
Yes, that's the same thing we saw Luke do earlier. Yeah, like the exact same entrance. Yeah, that's the reverse shrimp. Just pulling myself. I'm not going to elevate you guys. Certainly not with my banged up knee right now. But just heavy hips. I mean, even somebody my size, sitting back, heavy hips. I'm not going to be able to elevate them with a butterfly hook. The butterfly hook isn't so much about elevation as it is guiding somebody once you get the elevation, right? So what I really need is my hips underneath you. The way I do that is I pull my hips underneath. Watch my right leg, right? Give it a second. I get my butterfly hook right here. Boom. I pull, and I just try to shimmy my hips underneath you to get you off balance.
Now you got extension.
Yeah. Now I can get elevation, or if I wasn't a sack of shit like I am right now in this footage, but that's the idea. I'm not looking to elevate you guys with butterfly hooks. I'm looking to guide you with them once I get you elevated, and also just kind of wedge you in place, keep you from moving. Man, I had a nice. I came up nice on the sweep, and then he hits me with the octopus guard.
Yeah. You actually had potentially another calf slicer. I know he had it on the last one, but you had a calf slicer right when he turned you back over with your right leg. Watch out when he takes you over, you can actually grab his
yeah,
leg there and actually hit him with a sneaky, awkward but sneaky.
That would have been interesting.
Calf slicer.
All right, so for Cooper, let's look at what Luke does on Victoria here. So, see, he's not dealing with a fully closed guard at this point. With when he has the scoop grip on the leg, and notice he makes it a priority to get the calf or the knee up on the shoulder, and then he starts to cut his angle all the way around. So he's not hanging out there too long once he gets the leg up and inviting triangle entrances.
He's also putting that right hip down on the mat. That's another underutilized thing, is that even if Victoria had her legs locked around his neck and arm, right, she does not have the ability to make a turn and throw on significant triangle pressure. So he's still able to make the movement to throw the legs by with a simple pop of his shoulder.
Yeah.
We don't want to do that when our opponent is, flat on the hip, or even turned in the other direction.
Here we go. Braden and Clay.
Braden.
Cody and Jason. Oh, and me and Luke. Great. Probably get smothered.
Was he playing IBJJF rules with you or no?
I don't remember. We did that on Monday. Purely that. Yeah. So for the double ankle stuff, or like the Kouchi grips here, when someone's leaning heavily towards you, you're probably not going to get the sweep, right? But that's where you're going to want to think about pulling into leg entrances. Once their knees are already on the ground, you're not doing that. You're probably just going to play butterfly guard. But if you hang out there long enough and like they start to lean forward as you get the setup, just grab at the knees with both hands, just kind of like false grip, and then pull yourself in and try to work to Arimi Ashi or whatever leg entrances from there. I want to see you guys moving a lot more with all this heavy collar tying and overhooking and stuff. Nobody's getting taken down if you're static. Clay working to another Kimura. Gets the step over, gets the other step over. Then now in this case, Clay wants to kind of lean towards his right. There it is. Braden stays safe. Nice. Jason just pull here? Yeah, okay. Pull butterfly. Ooh, Braden trying to throw the quick strangle on. Nice re-roll. Oh yeah, Luke had a solid crank on my head there for a second.
Yeah, just threw over the head for the guillotine thread. And it really, what that does is, it's not a ton of strangle pressure, but it like crunches you in so far to where your legs aren't very effective anymore, right? It pulls everything in. Like, you can't stop that back step.
Yeah, I pretty much just, I don't want to say I give up the pass because it's kind of been earned at that point. But it's like, go ahead, take it, and then let me get to work. Trying to either turtle up and regard or like, do whatever. Just get off my neck. What was that?
Mother from side control.
Yeah. Dude, he gets my nose like bent up and I'm just like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah.
Here I fall into it, a Remy.
With a big reap.
Yeah, huge reap. Switching into cross Ashi. And trying to keep his heel away from his butt.
He gives you the secondary leg there.
Yeah, I know. It was, I wasn't sure how I felt about that. But we pretty much just fight from here the rest of the round.
Yeah, he doesn't seem too phased by it. His leg isn't his right leg isn't in too much of a danger for the knee bar for that Texas cloverleaf.
Yeah.
So really nice Uchima. Oh, Howard Goshi.
Almost. Then he gets it.
Then he got it.
That's quick.
Oh, and then he gets
the
the
Uchi.
Uchimata.
Yeah. That was nice.
Look how gentle. That was nice. Throws him, and then he doesn't land on him.
And then, and with the underhook too. Always love the underhook.
Yeah.
Variation. Yeah, what
I'm
Lucas?
curious.
Go ahead. No, you.
I was gonna say, I'm curious why you're not trying to attack the free leg with like with a straight ankle grip or anything.
Right
Okay.
there, I switched
You're
to it.
switching.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. And then like the reverse, like switching your left hand through and then going for that reverse grip.
I have a difficult time on that with keeping my hands high. So I tend to bank on either like the leg lace, cloverleaf thing, to get them to like slip the leg and then transition to my heel hook. I normally have pretty good success with the leg lace, so I tend to use that. Especially with Luke. I mean, I think everybody who rolls against him knows like it's hardly worth trying to straight ankle him. So I try not to burn out myself on straight ankle variations with him.
Yeah.
And then if he does slip the leg, if he pulls his secondary leg out and like gets a turn, I'm confident with just bringing his primary leg to the center of my chest and holding him from there, regrouping and getting back to work. That was a real reach to try to get Braden or to try to get Gavin from like taking my back. I mean, he has an underhook in. I was like, give me your hip and get off me. I wouldn't recommend doing that all the time.
Was that a knee pick from Jason on Tyler? No.
Yeah, I mean, knee
it
pick,
was.
collar tie, yeah. And he takes him down to the collar tie side. Instead of like blocking the knee, he just uses that to pick him up. And
he does that a lot. He picks up that leg and then just dumps people over. Right? He does that quite often.
Yeah. I think we saw that like on the last stream or the one prior.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, poor Mitchell. Don't want to go belly down, bud. Gavin switching to 50-50.
Look at Mitchell go. Look at that.
He's getting him off balance a little bit.
He got it. Yeah, that was great. He tried to switch into single leg X and just wasn't sure about it. Looks like. That's okay.
Yeah, Clay doing a good job keeping control of the inside leg to prevent his own leg from getting isolated.
See so many people, like even in footage and stuff like that, not doing what Clay is doing, right? And Clay's doing a great job of just keeping your hands on the person's ankles that they're trying to attack your legs, like disrupting their legs with your hands on their ankles with V grips and pushing away, whatever. That says a lot. Like that's a really good instinct to have.
Yeah. So Gavin putting to work some of the front headlock stuff we worked on with Gary. So
right into it.
Yeah, when these guys are finding me in this position, I'm giving them a pop quiz on what to do with elbow position, or the elbow position your opponent gives you, right? So here he's got I believe he has the head and arm. It's hard to see. Yeah, he's so his left arm stays in, and he's on a head and arm, almost like an elbow to elbow grip. I think he goes to a gable grip here, but I'm keeping my elbows nice and wide, so he's not going to be able to collapse my arm and gator roll me and anaconda and all that stuff. So what do you do when the elbows are real wide and they're based out really nicely? That's when you switch to no arm in guillotines, right? Just your standard guillotine variation, which he switches the grip here. You could just you can barely make out him bringing the other arm in. Oh no, that's because he didn't bring the other arm in. But he shoots in on the hips and pulls my chin in very tight to my chest and gets me to a spot where got a tap.
Very nice.
Jordan going with?
Luke.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Is Clay working more of a high ball ride at this point? If you could even call it that, he's off to the side. This is where you're going to see him looking for his arm triangles, right? As he
Yep.
loses the back and tries to come up in the mount. Digs that right arm through to establish his strangle. Now, ideally, he's going to clear his leg. There he gets it. We know he's been working on this well with Luke. Nice.
Jason employing exactly what I was just talking about with Clay. Cooper throws up an Garami Ashi or a single leg X, and immediately Jason goes in and using his V grips on the feet and on the ankles to start peeling legs away and keeping the knee line clear. That was really nice. Hang on, is that Cooper or Tyler? I can't tell their hair.
It's Cooper.
Their hair is so similar. Okay.
Yeah, I think Tyler left by now.
All right. Good job, Cooper, going into the single leg X. That's very natural for you as well.
Gavin hits me with an anaconda.
Nice.
Mitch, yeah, dude. So I think Clay gives him the leg. Actually, I don't know. Maybe he's letting Mitchell work a single leg, stands up with it. And then this is a good. So Mitchell's trying to step around to the outside here, get the leg in front of him, it looks like. Picks the leg up. So now against a squared up opponent, Mitchell has an option here to, with the foot on the outside, step this leg in deep behind Clay's right leg that's planted and get to an inside trip. And then, for jiu-jitsu, fall right into closed guard or an open guard if he stays on his feet. And instead, Mitchell goes, nah, dude. Going into the legs. Clay's like, nah, dude, not letting you.
Yeah.
Clay himself working to a leg entrance, but just a little loose on the isolation. That's hilarious. Gavin on the armbar with me. Clear the feet off to the side. He's got to make a change. There we go. So same thing as I was talking about earlier. Breaking the left arm, break it over your left hip. This is good. This is good enough, right? You can get breaks there, but if you really, obviously we're not trying to truly break Mitchell's arm, but if you wanted to catastrophically break somebody, you got a lot more room in this direction than you do pulling down into your chest. Additionally, Clay, try to keep this leg over the face. Don't get too lazy bringing it down over, crossing the line, the shoulder line or something. It's easier for more adept opponents to start escaping from there. I think Gavin just finishes around with a darce on me. Yeah.
Jason going for the standing guard break too. Again.
Jason for the rematch after being violently double-legged. Got me and Cody. Cody and I were practicing our WWE moves. Clay looking for the broomstick takedown, gets it. What was that? Just Sasai.
Going across Ashi. Backstep.
Yeah. Cody actually did a really good job there keeping me off balance, not letting me establish a good leg position. And then when he like rolled through, briefly it put me into like a reverse Ashi, but I just couldn't get any good position established there. Meanwhile, Clay is over here on Jason's back.
I think he's got highball ride, or maybe even just the left leg under control, not even with a highball ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abandoned ship. Looks like he's in on the left arm somehow. Maybe for a Kimura grip.
Quick run to the back as Jason turned towards him, to square back up. Clay runs around to the back, keeps him from turning to keep the back exposure. Got to make use of that when you get it, though, man. Like, make sure you establish a good upper body connection. Typically, like a head and arm closed grip around the head and arm will go a long way towards keeping Jason from turning his back to the mat or turning back towards you further. Good regard. Nice knee cut. Just about. I guess more of a knee staple. Jason briefly stepped over into a half guard.
Hands on the biceps. Trying to get his posture back. Yep, looking for that standing guard break.
There's the
sweep.
Yeah. So he didn't even have to get too far up on his neck here. He just gets a nice deep, elbow deep scoop grip on the leg. And then can get Jason off balance enough and take top position in mount without ever having to open the legs. That's the beauty of the headstand sweep. You never have to uncross your legs for it. When you do, you run the risk of being straight ankled or whatever. Standing opponent can still lock up an Achilles grip on you and do some nasty stuff. So if you can keep the ankles crossed behind the back, you'll be in a better spot. Play with the body fold.
Yeah, that was an interesting turn. I can't tell whether Jordan opted to go down or if there was pressure here to go down.
Yeah, I think Clay just circled him way faster.
Yeah.
So now working a very high mount, almost to a mounted triangle.
No, he's in a... Okay.
Briefly
he's in
was...
a triangle briefly, yeah. Now catcher, but unable to do anything with it.
Quickly jumping past his legs here.
Yeah.
Yeah, selling in, establishing grapevines, just getting to an established position, and then he could decide his tactics. And Mitchell calling me out. Good regard. So Mitchell creating space with his frames and immediately getting his knee back in. Very fundamental, but very, very essential. Ben, my man, missing a great ankle pick opportunity here. You've changed your level. You can absolutely reach Jason's ankle. You touch his knee, you can reach the ankle. I wish you would just rip that leg right out from underneath him. Clay trying some new things. Clay's waiting out this single leg. Yeah, Jordan doesn't seem to want to power through on this. Okay.
Yeah, he couldn't. Oh, okay.
That was interesting. So as Clay Clay started to stand up there, that's when Jordan takes it up, almost gets the double, but Clay got his knees to the mat, so able to stay safe. What did Jason do? Okay, got him on. Jason got on Ben's back. Pretty standard rear naked strangle there. Meanwhile, and I just got a Kimura on Mitchell. Okay, nothing too fancy. All right, so Clay getting to a belly down rear naked strangle here. Now it's way worse.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't always have to get the hooks in on those. Like we see here briefly, Clay doesn't really have any deep hooks set in. But then once Jordan lifts his legs up and Clay gets the hooks in, it's kind of that's going to be the end of it. You guys got to be real careful if you end up belly down. Like I want you to make sure, like if you're going towards belly down, you better roll hard and get through it rather than just stall out there. It could also turn into a pretty nasty spot for your spine if your opponent decides to pull your head up. I wouldn't expect that in the training room, but you know, competition, you might run into somebody who doesn't care about doing that to you. Jordan almost with the shoulder push. This looks nice. So Clay right, here down more around the hips, getting taken off balance. Does a great job getting to his feet though. Like he's almost taken over here, but then that little jump he wins the hip height battle here. I think if Jordan
the way
had
he
been
circles around the back,
is
what won him the position here. Yep, because he's able to get, like you said, gain hip height by basically putting his feet down on the mat.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, but like there's some really awesome footage you could find of some like Dagestani wrestlers, Russian guys. I don't know I think Satyev, I think is the guy's name, and then maybe even Sajalayev. Again, might be butchering their names. Like they have this really great response to situations like that where they just cartwheel over the backs of their opponent, and like they get out of so many sketchy situations just by getting their hips higher and then behind the opponent, and it takes away or reestablishes a base very well. It's something I've wanted to try. I just don't know enough about it to use it confidently yet, and I'm not exactly trying to be acrobatic. I guess we only had 5-minute rounds on. I was wondering why we had so many rounds when I was cutting up this footage.
I think the IBJJF tournament and all that stuff like that, or 5 minutes
Yeah, that makes
for
sense.
masters.
Yeah, any of you rolling with Luke between now and mid-October, or the end of October, like, take it to him. Give him what you can, because we really want to get him ready. Of course, like one thing I don't want to see you guys doing too much of is like just being shy, or it's not like I don't feel like we have anybody in our school who like stalls, but like, give him good looks. Don't waste around because you're afraid to try new stuff or try different moves. Like, Luke needs to be able to react to damn near anything. So throw whatever you can at him, and I think that'll do him better than you just trying to like avoid points being scored on you or something.
Yeah, don't be nervous about getting submitted.
Yeah.
Throw whatever out, see if it sticks.
Yeah, it's also more fun that way.
Yeah.
All right, Coop, you're in the scoop again. You need to cut your hips around to the right here. So, okay, if you go to your left, that's fine. That's a traditional over-under sweep, or I'm sorry, over-under pass. But you have to capture the bottom leg. So what I need to see here is this knee stepping over top of Clay's knee, and then your left knee coming in towards the hip, and you need to drop your hip. I don't want to say drop it all the way to the mat, but I need you like cutting more of an angle here. Like you would basically want to be looking across. Your head would need to shift over to Clay's left side if you're going to go in that direction. If you're going to go the other route that I think you were doing, you were aiming for it earlier, the heavy pass to the underhook side, you've got to move fast on that, man. You've been good about making those adjustments between hearing our comments on the stream and then getting to the next class. So I'm going to expect you to really work on that. Nice takedown from Luke. Luke really likes that. He gets in on the single and then uses that outside like knee deep step. Play to the back. He's got the body triangle. Yeah. You get a one arm? I think you got a one arm strangle on him.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coop just knew he wasn't getting out.
Ooh. Almost went for a ride. Coop, you gotta act, bud. Nice. That's an interesting arm configuration Clay had there.
There's a rear katagatame.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, he had that arm up. Damn, that's like the second time I think in all the time we've been doing this stream. And maybe the first time was like a month ago.
Yeah.
See how Clay squares up with
Yeah.
Cooper here. He like kicks that leg back real hard and hits that twist. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that. So yeah, it doesn't really even open the grip. He just like puts a big spin into that.
Yeah,
to
he
get his
traps
hips back.
the wrist. Like he holds the wrist in place so he can spin through it. His right arm never leaves that wrist.
Oh, word, yeah. That's cool.
That was slick.
All right, and that's the round. Yeah, cool. Good stuff for a for a Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to go over that footage. I wasn't sure when we'd hit it. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Let's see. So I guess we've got probably another good month and a half of 5-minute rounds and more bodies to go through for the open mats. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you, Cody. Thanks for watching, man. As always, if you guys like what you're seeing, follow us here if you're lurking in the chat. Subscribe if you can. Use your Twitch Prime. It always supports us. We really, really appreciate that. Follow us over on YouTube as well, where I will post this for you guys to review. And yeah, if you have any other questions, please bring them to class. You know, we always are happy to go over whatever you guys want to go over. So bring them to class, and we will help you guys out. What else? We're in open guard this week.
Open guard, we got Danny teaching tomorrow.
Okay.
And I think we're back to regular schedule Saturday, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm not teaching, so yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Go trim your nails and do your laundry, and don't be stinky. We'll see you guys back in class. Take it easy.
Later.